Hello everybody and welcome to another horror movie review. This is a recent one as well. It came out this year, and this is a movie I was looking forward to for a while, but the thing about it is though, I didn't even notice it came out until the day it came out because no one was really talking about it. I remember seeing it on horror movie forums once, and that was never brought up again, and I follow most of the underground horror movie forums on Facebook and YouTube and stuff like that. And I never heard of this, and I think I overheard, I was watching Cool Duder's thing, and I was wasn't paying attention at this one point, but I thought I think I might have overheard him saying this movie. But then I was at the store the one day, and I came in there, and I was like, why does that look familiar? And then my brain clicked it, and I was like, oh my gosh, I was waiting for this movie for so long, and the movie is a sequel to one of my favorite horror films to come out within the last couple of decades. It's Wolf Creek 2. Now, Wolf Creek 2, obviously, sequel to Wolf Creek 1, takes place 9 years after the first one, I think. And I remember seeing a trailer for this, and I even forgot about the trailer. And what I think about this movie is, I think this is awesome. I love this movie. Now, going into it, what everyone has to realize is, this is a different feel from the original film. The original film is very much Texas Chainsaw inspired film. This feels more like Hostel. The first one's a suspenseful, dark, gritty 70s, 80s style horror film. This is more of a late 80s, 2000s torture film. That's what this comes off as. And yes, I know, the original one was a torture film as well, but that one had a grittier feel to it. It wasn't as colorful. I mean, this is colorful in the fact that there's blood all over it. The first one didn't have that much blood at all. This one's a straight up gore film. It's not as gory as something like Dead Alive, obviously, but it is still a splatter flick in the definition of a splatter flick. And the gore effects in this film are fantastic. It has some of the best gore effects I've seen in a long time. Now, this basically is almost the same plot as the original film, except this one time it's just one guy he's torturing as opposed to 3 people. I'm not even sure that's really a spoiler or anything about that because they say on the back of the box, but the thing about this movie is it made me believe anyway that it was going to be about him torturing these 2 people, but they wind up getting taken off once he meets them, and then it winds up following this one guy named Paul. Sorry, I can't remember his name. And Mick Taylor is the villain's name in this. And what's his name? John Jarratt. He is phenomenal. He was phenomenal in the first one. He's phenomenal in this one. I want to see this guy play Mick Taylor more often. I hope there's more Wolf Creek movies just so I can see him play this guy. This movie is awesome. And he's the reason why it's so awesome. And this movie's opening is wonderful. It has probably one of the coolest film openings I've seen in a long time. And it slows down for a little bit, then he kills off 2 people, and then it picks up speed again. And this explores more, even though it is direct-to-video. I think it might have had a very limited release, but the only time I saw this was at the store. It might have been released theatrically in Australia. And Mick Taylor, for as horrible as he is, he's one of the most likable horror villains because he's outgoing. He's like Freddy Krueger. He's on par with Freddy Krueger in that sense. He's very charismatic. He's outgoing. He has liners and stuff like that. And you can tell that John Jarratt was putting in a solid effort here. He wanted to make this guy everything he wanted him to be. And that's what makes this movie great. And the one problem I have with this movie is its ending, though. It's a very strange ending. I really don't know how to feel about it. I felt kind of confused by it. And I'm not talking about, for anyone who's seen the movie Jigoku, I'm not talking about that type of confusing. I'm just talking about tonal confusing. It's not lighthearted, and it's a dark ending, but I just didn't know, what to think of it. But that's just a light problem with the movie. The movie overall is really good. There are some pacing issues with it. Sometimes it just feels like it goes for shock for the sake of shock, but that's all good in the end, really. what else do I have to say about it? Sometimes there were tonal issues where I couldn't really tell if it was trying to be a dark comedy or a straight up horror film, but that's not a problem either because it is very solid. The acting all around is great. Like I said, John Jarratt was wonderful. He's the reason why I care so much about the Wolf Creek movies, both the first and the second one. He is such a charismatic actor in these films, and I believe that if this could be like the next best horror villain. I hope they keep up with this guy. I want to see more Wolf Creek movies. I don't want to wait, 9 more years just to see Wolf Creek 3. I want to see Wolf Creek 3 sooner than I saw Wolf Creek 2. I mean, I don't want it to be rushed or anything, but I do hope I get to see Wolf Creek 3 before, I die. But, like I said, there are tonal differences between the first and the second film. The first one is very much Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Borderland, and Devil's Reject style feel. Where this is more of a Hostel, Saw sequels, and Wizard of Gore feel. It's not like Horschel Gordon Lewis or anything like that. And one of my favorite splat flicks of all time is Wizard of Gore, and yes, I am a huge Horschel Gordon Lewis fan, and I even like the Uh-Oh Show, but I felt as the Uh-Oh Show was just kind of like a loose remake of Wizard of Gore, but that's beside the point. The point is that as I noticed, there's sometimes the two big differences horror fans. There's ones that like people who like just the gore films, and then there's the people who like the more suspenseful, actually legitimately scary films. I'm one of the people who likes both. I like to be scared, but sometimes I just want to see people get butchered. It doesn't matter to me as long as I'm entertained in the end or frightened. Because, horror films, they take out of reality, which is always really nice to feel every once in a while. So it all depends on preference at this point. I like the first one more because I do prefer sometimes the slower paced, more suspenseful horror films, and I really felt dark throughout it. But this one though, Wolf Creek 2, is definitely worth watching. I definitely give it a 4 out of 5. It's definitely one of the best films I've seen this year, and I've seen a few films this year. This is definitely one of the better ones. I hope there's a Wolf Creek 3. Now that's my review for Wolf Creek 2. Now before I leave, I just want to say mad props to 3 people. 8 The Chosen One for 2 reasons. 1, for getting a role in the American Guinea Pig series, and 2, for aspiring for better health habits with his bodybuilding career. And I also want to send props to Sean C. Phillips, or Cool Duder, as many people on the YouTube horror community know him as, because he's going so strongly for a healthier lifestyle. He's trying so hard to lose weight, and I give him mad props for it. I hope he succeeds. And there's also Brendan Mitchell, or White Movie 1. He is also doing a great job. He posts progress pics online, and you can see how well he's doing. He is phenomenal. I give high props to him. And also Boogie2988, I think that's his name. He also is striving to lose weight, and I hope the best for all you guys. I as well as am also trying to do better version of myself. But I'm not trying to become a bodybuilder. I'm actually trying for strongman, but not competing. Just becoming the strongest version of myself as I can. So seeing everyone doing so well for themselves really goes to show that if you strive, you can succeed. Anyways, that's my review for Wolf Creek 2. Definitely check it out. It's worth it. You can get it for a cheap price, but don't go for the Blu-ray. It is kind of way pricier than DVD. And from what I saw from on the DVD, it looks great as it is if you get a good player and have a nice TV. Anyways, that's my review of Wolf Creek 2. I'll catch you guys later.